Hi guys. So, do you want to become Azure developer? And do you want to know what is the roadmap to become a good Azure developer, which company will be interested in? So, in this video, I'm going to talk about this thing only, like how to become Azure developer, what should be your roadmap, what you should do first before starting learning Azure, and how can you become a good Azure developer, first of all. Now, Azure developer is like in very good demand. Companies are paying very good salary for this thing. People who have a background in Azure. Okay. So, what do you mean by a Azure developer? First of all, we have to understand that thing. Okay. So, basically, I can say any, let's assume any developer, any backend developer. Okay. Let's suppose a backend developer is working on .NET, Java, Python, Node, or any other technology, go whatever, doesn't matter. If somebody is already a backend developer and then he's using Azure Cloud to deploy these applications, or they are using some cloud services, okay, for making some applications, then we can say it is their Azure developer. Okay, and companies are really very interested nowadays in these kind of positions. But people forget that thing. I have seen people, they're going on in institutes, they're doing basic Azure course, what is IAS, what is this PaaS and all those things. But they don't know what is the meaning of a Azure developer. Azure developer is a developer. You can't move developer out of that. So he or she is still a hardcore good software developer, and now they have more skills, add-on skills like how to use cloud services. Then it the combination of both is known as a cloud development, or if we talk about Azure, then Azure developer. Okay, so don't forget to. There's no point in learning Azure cloud and without development. That is not a developer. Okay, so like you are a full stack developer, you want to deploy. So I can say backend or full stack, but mostly you will need cloud for backend services. For front end, we need minimum like things in the from Azure or AWS clouds or any other clouds. But what we need more on the backend side. Okay, that's why I start with the backend thing. Okay, so remember this thing. So what is the roadmap? First of all, if you want to become Azure developer, first become a developer. First become a good developer in Python, Node.js, Go, whatever, and try to first get a job. Okay. So what should be a roadmap? First, are you already working as a developer? So if you're not working as a developer and you're directly going and learning AWS Azure, that will not help you. Okay. You learn the latest technology first as a developer. So what is the latest technology in Java? Is Spring Boot. In .NET, it is .NET Core. Okay, and similarly in other technology, it will be different things. So first, you learn the latest things in the market. Try to get a job as a developer first of all. Then think next step would be the learning Azure and all those things. There's no point in learning these things. Basics you can know, it's the issue, but there's no point. Like, see, because company will first give you, even if you don't know this thing, still you can get a job because if you know good development. Okay, so if you're not a developer, first become a developer. Then you can apply. Then you can try when you are already in a job. You can parallelly run the latest things in the cloud like Azure or AWS, whatever you want to learn. That is the next step. But first step is, are you a developer or not? If not, then learn the latest technologies, what is in the market in the backend development or full stack development, and then get a job, become a developer. Then the cloud thing will come. Now, let's suppose you're already a developer, you're already working on, but I have seen people working on the older technologies, like somebody's working on like old Windows applications and those things in .NET and Java when people are not working on the latest things. Then cloud will not help them because they're working on the older projects in companies. So first try to learn the latest things, okay? Try to move to the latest technologies, okay? In your domain, like in your technology. If you're from Java or .NET, first move to the latest thing. Spring Boot is very in demand right now. Similarly is .NET Core. First try to learn that thing, the latest technology as a developer, okay? Because the older technology anyway is not moving to cloud, or it is very minimally moving to the cloud. So first latest technology you learn, okay, and then become a, like I can say, what I can say, a developer who has the latest skills. I can say latest technology, will have the latest skills first of all. So first acquire the recent skills, the latest skills in the market, okay? So first upgrade yourself, as a developer first. As a developer, upgrade yourself. First step is this thing. Once you upgrade yourself as a developer in your respective technology, then definitely you can learn. Next step should be learning Azure and all those things. Now let's suppose you have learned .NET Core, Spring Boot. These are used to make, let's suppose, REST APIs. Now second steps for this thing will be, okay, now how to deploy. Let's suppose you want to deploy the REST APIs made in Java, Python to cloud. Let's suppose to Azure. How you will do that thing? Do some research, find that thing. Well, I will note down those things. Okay, learn those things. Then there are multiple things, but this is the main thing. If you're doing this thing properly, like deploying into your services into Azure, that is a good start. Okay, how to deploy, how to, and you'll see how it is so simple to deploy any applications in Java, .NET, Python in Azure. Okay, so it is just, you need a app service in Azure and a database, Azure SQL database. You don't need too much thing, you just need a app service. I will say app service is like a, we use this thing to deploy web application, web APIs, and plus you will need Azure SQL database or Azure SQL server and database, obviously. So if you have these two, your app will be up and running in the cloud. Okay, these two are the basic services. So you can go in Azure portal, and if you take a free subscription, a free trial, you'll see this portal. You can search app services like this thing. Uh, you can, let's suppose I open an app services. I want to deploy it, so I can create a new one. If I'm trying to create a new one, let's see what happens. Create web app. So this app services is used to create web application, web APIs, or full stack applications. Okay, so uh, let's suppose I give a name, demo, something like that. I can see this URI is there. So whatever you will give here, it will be publicly available on a like a domain, Azure websites.net. So I will say, okay, demo Rahul A, something like that. A unique name, unique, like a unique domain in the Azure. Like Azure websites is like the main domain, and then we are doing the subdomain. Okay, now this is there. Now you can see when you publish your code, your application, there are multiple things through code, like as it is through Docker container and all those things. Now, if I see code, what kind of code they're supporting? Are they supporting .NET, Java, Python, Node.js? So let me search here. You can see .NET is supported. If I search Java, Java is also supported. If I search Python, Python is also supported. If I search Node.js, Node is also supported. I will search Go. Go is not supported, I guess. And then if I search uh, Ruby, Ruby also supported. So we can see all the most of the popular frameworks is supported. Okay, but it may happen that you're working on some technology which might not be supported as a native thing. So there's a solution for that thing. You can always go for a Docker container. I'm not going to explain what is a Docker container. If you know, that is fine. Otherwise, you can search it, and definitely I'll make a video about containers in Docker separately. So when we talk about Docker container, it is like a, just think it like that. We can deploy any application inside a container. It is up to us what to deploy. If I want a container for Python, Django, Flask, Spring Boot, .NET Core, anything, just have to search it. I'll get it For example, if I just search, okay, I want a Docker for, let's suppose I want a Docker container for, I will say I want a Docker container for React, deploying React applications in the front end, and in the back end, I want the Docker to have a, let's suppose, Django. Okay, will I get this thing? If I search it, you will see there are a lot of available things, and articles is fine, but if you see, there would be a lot of Docker. Where's that? Yes, let me search. Yeah, you see, there's a lot of applications, and there would be, if I open Docker, if you just search Docker, okay, Docker Hub. So Docker Hub is like a cloud, like everybody deploy their images, how to do. I'm not just search. Let's suppose I just say React, and I say, or let's suppose I will say React Native. This is useful deploying mobile applications, and I want in the backend Django. Is that is available or not? So if you see it is available, I can't see, but I can see native. I can see something React Native is there, but with Django is not there. Let me search with Python. There, Python and React Native is there. I will so let me search. You can search the images whether you can see. Uh, okay. Mm, so I'm getting. Mm, okay, let me search something different, simple thing. Let's suppose I search React and Python. Images, I'm trying for the images. Python. If I'm trying to search. Mm, okay, so let's suppose I say full stack Python. You can see there's a app here. So using Flask they have made, but I don't see. But there are like I'm not able to search now. But there are a lot of applications like that where we have uh, like one layer as backend, one layer as front end. It's quite possible to have that thing. I'm not able to search right now. Maybe I'll show you later when I will make a dedicated for Docker. But let's suppose you want to run a backend in .NET Core, or you want to run a Django applications. Okay, just you type Django, you get a lot of images. Just use this images Django, and it will immediately install Django in your container. That is the power of just you write this command in your command line. So I'm not going to explain Docker and all those things, but I'm saying using this thing you can deploy any kind of application. So your cloud is also now supporting that containers, and using container you can deploy anything. Then other things are they're not going to that. Okay, plan and all those things. But see, this is a thing we should know how to deploy this thing. Okay, and the pricing and all those things are there. Okay, where is the a lot of things are there. Whether you're deploying on Linux or Windows, you can decide that. This is how you can decide. You can deploy any Java applications, any. But most of this will be a web applications. Okay, so yeah, so this is app service, which I just showed is app service to deploy your web app. Okay, your web applications. I can say your backend. Backend also is possible. If you're making a mobile app, deploy the backend as the REST API in the app service. Then definitely we'll need a database. Azure SQL is there. If you want Azure NoSQL solution, we have differently. We have Cosmos DB. We have lot of different database in our Cosmos DB is a NoSQL solution. So but that is not needed or mandatory thing you should know. But SQL Server you should know how to. If I go here, I can search SQL database. You see SQL database. I can go and create a new SQL database. I can go here, create a new SQL database. So what I'm doing, and this you can use in your development, in your like for testing and all those things, production. So I'm just giving, it is very simple if you use the cloud services to maintain your applications and run it. Okay. Now, so so this is the basic things to do this thing. What are the other advanced things which you should know? Let's suppose you have applied your sorry, you have deployed your applications and something is going wrong, something is not working expected. You have to go and check that. For that we have something as app insights. Okay, so you should know this thing also, app insights. So whatever you're doing the logging part, just search what if you don't know about logging, just search how to do logging in .NET Core and Java and other stuff you'll get to know. So let's suppose you're logging some exceptions and any other things in the cloud, you can always open the app insights and get those information. Apart from this thing, app insights also capture it, it is like a monitoring tool. It monitors okay which queries are going slow. So suppose you are having a performance issue, some SQL query is taking more time, so it will give you that thing which query is taking more time, all the things. So you should know how to use App Insight, how to go and debug and monitor and find the root cause of the failure and the performance issues. So this is also very important to you must have. If you're really going for Azure Developer and you don't know this thing, it is not a good thing. You should always know this thing how to use App Insight. This is a must. So app service is a must. This is a must. Other things are good to have, but it is not mandatory. But this basic thing should know, and this is also very good to have. Okay. Other things we have lot of things in Azure, but for a backend developer, this and this is good enough to build most of the apps. Okay, but nowadays there are a lot of things which is more inclined to. Let's suppose you're making a .NET Core application. It's not necessary that you're going to deploy this .NET Core or ASP.NET Core or Java Spring Boot application in Azure. You can also deploy the same application in AWS and cloud, or you can buy your own physical server and deploy. So your this application is not dependent directly on the cloud. Okay, you're using that cloud just for a placeholder just to deploy your application. But if I talk about some of the latest technology, now this is a very like nowadays it is a very hot technology. It's known as cloud native developer. So I'm going to make a separate video for this thing. This I'm giving the introduction. So what is a cloud native developer? So just search what is Azure Functions. In AWS we have something as AWS Lambda. Just search this thing. What is this thing? I'm not, so these are similar things. Azure Function, AWS Lambda. What is these things? So let's suppose you deploy your applications. Okay. So what will happen when you deploy your app services in cloud? Basically, it will be deployed all 24 hours. Okay, and you have to pay for all 24 hours. Even nobody is using your app or nobody is using a API. So what now they have come with a solution that use Azure Functions. So I will search. Let's suppose this is your function app. So when you create your function app, it will only charge for things you have used. If somebody is not calling your function, it will not billing will not, you will not receive any bill because nobody is using your application. For example, I've created this application from long time back. Okay, if you go this thing, so the my plan, you see this pay as you go subscription. Okay, so I've taken this plan, app service plan, demo plan, and so there's a plan type I'll show you in Azure function. There's a plan which is uh, let me show you. Hmm, where's that? Uh, so if I go to service plan, let me check. Hmm, okay, so this is okay. I'll show you. I will create an. So if you see the billing, I'm not getting any bill on this thing because it is like I've taken a plan, which is known as consumption plan. So if you take that plan only with when if this API has been called, then only it will be like my bill will come. Otherwise, it will not come. Okay, so this is one more thing I'm just going giving you the example. Okay, and yeah, so you should know how this function app should work. If you're going for more quality jobs, definitely somebody will ask you what is the other function, have you used these things or not. Okay, apart from this thing, there's one more concept which is also important, which is known as key vault. Somebody will ask you this thing, what is a key vault? So key vault is like whenever we store some config settings in our config file, uh, somebody can check see it in production or in deployment. It's possible to check it. So better to this. So key vault is a placeholder where we secure all our keys there, or we can say all configuration we can, which is important, which is secret, then we can store in the key vault. Okay, so this also you should know what is the Azure key vault. Okay, this is also important. This can be asked to you. So these are some common things you should know apart from these things. And as I mentioned, Docker also you should know. Docker is also important. These, if you know these things, then you are good for a Azure developer interview. Somebody can ask you question: have you used Azure keyboard? What is the purpose of this thing? You can answer this thing. Somebody ask you what is a cloud native developer? You can say what is a cloud native developer. The cloud native developer is more you are building something which is tied to. You can't migrate. Let's suppose tomorrow you have to migrate your app from Azure Function to AWS Lambda. That is very difficult. Why? Because your code is dependent on Azure platform. Okay, so it is hard to migrate to other platform. Or let's suppose tomorrow you say, okay, I don't want to use this solution. I want to what I can say. I want to use my own machine to for this thing. So again, you have to rewrite a lot of code there. Okay, it is not easy to migrate because it is you're writing some code which is specific to Azure. I'll show you. Let's suppose I open my Visual Studio. Let me open my Visual Studio. Okay, so if I open Visual Studio, let me show you this thing. So suppose I open a create new project. Suppose I do this thing. है ना? Now if I go here, I can search for function app. So Azure, I can search for. Just a minute, it is getting slow. You can see I try to type Azure and the first name is coming is Azure function. We have other things also, Azure Web Jobs. I will not go into that, but we have a lot of things in Azure. We can create from here. Okay, uh, a lot of things are there. Azure Media Service, Azure Stream things, and a lot of things. Azure Data Factory. But I'm not going to everything. But right now, let's focus on Azure Function. Okay, I click next. It will create my function app. First function app. Let's suppose I create this thing. How it will look like? How the code will look like? Just see this thing. They're asking how it will be triggered. It will be queue triggered, like the function will be invoked as a API. Let's suppose you want to make an API. You choose HTTP trigger. If you want to like if you want a timer that okay my function should be called every 1 day, like to send emails every day, something like that. Then choose a timer. Let's suppose I choose a timer just like that. I create just for example. Let's see. So you can see this code. Now see, in this code, we are having some code which is specific to Azure library. Okay. So it means we are using the cloud native tech. This is a cloud native development. When we are saying, okay, .azure, we are using that in our code. Means we can't deploy this on, this will not work on AWS. This will not work on a local system. It is only going to work on Azure. This is a pure cloud native technology. So cloud native is like, so if you have to understand in simple things, if I deploy something on app service, it is not a cloud native application because tomorrow I can deploy the same thing on AWS, on Google, on my local computer, on my physical access. It is not tied to a particular platform. But when you tie your technology or development to a particular platform, that is known as cloud native development. Okay, and that is very hot in the market. Definitely I will make more videos on that thing, like what is a cloud, how you can become a cloud native developer. But I just want to start this series about Azure. And yeah, so I hope you will getting the idea like what is a native development. Okay, when I try to run this thing, I have to deploy some tools to run function app. I can run this thing. Okay, but this is timer. It will run every 5 minutes or every whatever is a cron expression. This is a cron expression. Okay, this is a timer. Okay, so I'm not going into much details. I'm just giving you overview. Okay, what are these technologies and how does it work? Okay, so I hope you're understanding what do you mean by Azure development. Okay, first of all, you have to become a developer, good developer on latest things, and then you will move to Azure and learn the latest things. Okay, one more important things I forgot is also you should know about CI/CD. Okay, like Git is a mandatory thing. It's not like really connected to the cloud thing, but you should know Git and CI/CD. Okay, because in CI/CD you're also going to push your code to cloud to Azure. So somewhere you have to have you to understand how this two is linked, how you can deploy your code from your local Git repository to Azure through CI/CD pipelines and all those things. So CI/CD is also important. Okay, CI/CD pipelines, how does it work? Okay, these things are also important. So and many other things also. I'm not going to advance part, but yeah, this is also one of the important point you should remember. And I will make a separate video about the people who are from data platform, like who are working on the SQL or who are data engineers. Okay, for them we'll make a separate video because for that thing I just will name something before I close up. Like the very popular technology is Azure Data Factory. Okay, for ETL process and other things. Okay, and people who are from SQL background, they are now using this Azure Data Factory. Earlier, they used to use SSIS and all those things, but nowadays this is the new thing, Azure Data Factory. And for data warehousing, people are using Snowflake. Okay, and then we have other things also. Okay, I'm not this. So this if you want to explore, you'll get all these things if you explore because this is used for data warehousing. Okay. If you are aware of what is a data warehousing concept. So I will make a separate video for data guys, okay, how they can use leverage Azure and how they can move ahead in the career. For let's suppose somebody is a SQL developer working on TSQL and they want to upgrade themselves, how they can do. I'll make a separate video, but yeah, I'm just trying to give a developer, and this is also an Azure developer, but mostly this is a more like a data profile. If you search, if you see like a description about Azure developer, you find most of these things. Okay, now let me validate this thing. Let's suppose I go to any job portal and I just try to search. Okay, and I am going to search Azure developer. That's it. Okay, let's see what comes in the. You can see .NET with Azure. Okay, okay. Then here this is. I'm not sure what is this. This is also .NET. So yeah, one more thing, Azure is more inclined with the .NET because Azure is also a Microsoft technology and platform, and .NET is also Microsoft. So obviously Microsoft supports .NET more than any other technology. So you'll find a lot of native support on .NET for Azure. Okay, so you will see most of the jobs are from .NET in Azure, but not really that okay always it will be .NET. But most of the job will be like inclined. But you can see here Java. You see Java and Python is also there. Let's suppose I open this thing. .NET Java, and they are asking for both. But yeah, this job description shows that this is the thing. And similarly, it is mostly C Sharp, .NET, C Sharp, .NET. But here you can see Azure Developer, okay, but Infosys job, okay. So what is the cloud platform? What is Microsoft Azure, Java, and Python? Now see, so it is don't think that okay with Azure we are only using .NET, Java, but yeah that is the major chunk is almost 70% or 80% will be .NET. But yeah, still we have Java and Python also, Node.js also on Azure. So don't think okay we are you have to learn AWS for that thing. No, it's not like that. Okay, you can just go through that and understand. See, Azure Data Factory developer, I just told you, this is for database guys who want to make a career in this thing. And you can see the packages also, how many people applied, what Azure Data Factory, as I explained this thing, data warehousing, pipelines, ETL process. Just go through this thing, okay? Uh, yeah, and then you can see. Uh, Yeah, here also you can see. So some knowledge of DevOps is also required. That also sorry I forgot. Yeah. So DevOps is same thing, CI/CD pipelines and how to deploy. So yeah, I can say if some knowledge of DevOps is also required. Okay, when you are uh, preparing as a Azure developer. Yeah, this is I forgot to mention. Sorry, my bad. Okay, you can see this skills. What is containers already said, Docker and all those things. So you need to know. And yeah, I guess that is it. And let's suppose if we talk about the salary is also very good. If I search, let's suppose what is the salary offered. So if I say this is one of the highest salaries, 25 to 50 lakhs experience and 25 lakhs to 30 lakhs package. In Azure Developer 8 training experience. So we have good packages in Azure and .NET also. Okay, so Azure is very hot. People are you can see this package, you can see Azure Developer 30 to 45 lakhs package. So package wise, that is not an issue. If you have the right skills, you'll get a very good package. Okay, and very good opportunity in the market. You can see here also. Okay, .NET and Azure developer for this thing. So package wise, no problem. That's good. Everything is good. Yeah, but you have to work and see and this thing CI/CD and all those things. Okay, so you can explore yourself what is required and what to do, and definitely we'll learn a lot of things. Yeah, but yeah, so we start with this thing, and definitely I will make one more video on how to because see this things writing in one line is simple, but how do you practice this thing, what are the materials and all those things. I'll make more little videos, but this is the introduction video about that what is do you mean by Azure developer, what is the components of that thing, what does it comprise of. Okay, and what are the key areas? You should just listen to first, है ना? And understand the background. Then you can make up your mind whether you want to go in this thing or not. Okay, so I hope you will like this video and you will learn something from this thing. Definitely, if you are new to cloud and development, and especially if you are a fresh partiality or thinking to make this necessary, it will give you more clarity. For fresher, I will say forget about Azure Developer. Just focus on the basic things like what is full stack development, what is backend development. You will get a job. Don't focus on this. These are advanced things. Okay, no company will hire based on this thing. If you're not a good developer, nobody is going to hire you. So don't go on the buzzword. Okay, these are for experienced people. See, first make your base, then go for the advanced thing. Okay, and company is not looking for a like Azure experience from a fresher. So they don't know how to code properly itself. So first learn the basic things, then go for the advanced thing in the later stage of your career after getting a job. Okay, with this I will end this thing and thank you.